So I'm Jessica. John gave a nice introduction to me. I'm very, very new to this. Like Brad, I was actually at another company as a captive agent. Not as long, not a year, for about 4 or 5 months. Got licensed very quickly, a matter of maybe a week or 2 weeks. And in that time frame, I went on 0 appointments. I had just moved back here. I had no friends, family, and that was basically the livelihood for me, was recruiting friends and family. I was working a full-time job in the hospital as a surgical tech. I'd been doing that for about 4 years. And I was tired of asking for time off, working so hard, having no room for growth, letting somebody else dictate what I was gonna do with my life, what kind of schools my kids were gonna go to. And I was ready to quit. Ken and I actually had a lot of fights about this, this is too good to be true, this is not gonna happen. And at a time when we were about to quit, Brian reached out to us and he said, hey, come and take a look at Family First Life. I think this is gonna be exactly what you guys are looking for. So on a whim, broke as can be, we went to Vegas to the convention. And I saw so many people that were being so successful that I couldn't deny that. I mean, how many of you have ever worked at a job you absolutely hated? Seriously. Working for something you know that you deserve a lot more, right? Your kids, not living in a neighborhood that you wish that you could live in for your kids. So we started out and we worked really hard. Ken's full-time, he ran the appointments. On my days off, I dialed. Once we saw the success and I saw how anybody can really do this as long as they put their mind to it and they want to work hard, that was it. I went home, as John said, it was a snowstorm. I had committed that I was going to quit my job, and where everybody was driving home because they were afraid of the snow, I was driving through the snow, trekking to work to quit my job, to actually go there and say, no more, I'm done. We did have early success. I started, and as John said, I had pitfalls. My own personal business issues, just like anything in life. I think as Matt said, that you're either coming into a crisis or you're going out of one. The first week in April, which was my full-time week, I think I ran maybe 1 week out of that entire month of appointments. This is my full-time. I quit my job, here you go, I'm gonna be full-time. From there, which I'll get into, May, I ended up issuing, as John said, about 28,000. So I had, April was my lowest of low that I could possibly be. And then now my first week in June, I think yesterday I submitted about 15,000, a little under. Just 1 week simplified issue. So I know that my growth, my potential is going forward. When John had asked me to talk about how to overcome early pitfalls, this was a very hard topic for me. I had a really hard time figuring out what to say. And I realized was because if I told you guys and talked about it, it was showing a vulnerability for me. But then I realized that was what I loved about Family First Life. That was what brought me to this company. That's where I wanted to change my life, my kids' lives, and help other people change their lives the same. This was a time in April, we had got forced orders out here. We own a home in California, we rented out. Our renters moved out. We had 2 months of rent that we had to pay, $5,000. We had chargebacks, my leads were messed up. They weren't coming in. And then on top of that, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. This is the same cancer that 3 years ago we buried my grandfather from. So for me, this was the ultimate low that I could have ever been in. I spent about probably 2-3 weeks where I barely left the house, not knowing what I was gonna do. We had no money, I wasn't working, and Ken believed in me. He's been my rock, pushing me. John constantly, never giving up on me, calling me, telling me, you can do this, you can do this. A big thing that we say in our family is that things don't happen to you, they happen for you, and figuring out what that means. So I had to figure out, what does that mean? How can I use this for me? So for me, it's actually given a big push for what I do, because now I'm bolder in the home. Because I've seen firsthand, I spent 6 months trying to get my mom to get life insurance. I have a very, very younger brother. He's 16 years old. My mom's a single mom. She's been a single mom her entire life, works really, really hard. And I kept telling her, I'm like, Mom, you are healthy. What if something happens to you? What are you gonna do? And now, I spent 6 months, and now she can't get insurance. And I don't want anybody else to feel like that. I don't want to feel like, because I didn't do enough to help that family. So, sorry. So the biggest thing that Ken, myself, and with John's help is I created and implemented an immediate massive action plan. Because this is what I'm going to do. I am not going to let anybody else dictate my time, my schedule, anything with my family. And I want to give my kids I want to pay off my grandma's house. I want to help my mom so she doesn't have to worry about money when she's going through cancer. I want to, there's so many things I want to do, and I'm going to. So I'm going to say, I kind of put together the 5 key elements that really helped me to overcome those pitfalls, because we all have things in our life that are going to bring us down. I think by this time you guys will probably realize that leads, addicted to leads, become a lead junkie, because that is the lifeline to what we do. Reinvesting back in yourself. I think it was Luke, I watched a lot of training with Luke before, and it was put 50% back into your business. Build yourself up. Just because you get a bunch of money, don't go pay off all your bills, because then you're going to be broke again. I wanted to build something. I don't want to just take a temporary fix. And not having all of my eggs in one basket. I had the issue where I didn't have my leads filled. That's going to happen. Stuff happens in this business. There is going to be disappointment. There's going to be things that go wrong. But diversifying yourself. Nicole was a huge help. John was so many people. I've reached out to everybody. That's what I love about this company, is that everybody is so willing to help you. I mean, Tiffany spent probably a good hour on the phone with me when I was a nervous wreck trying to figure out how to balance my kids and my life. I mean, mom guilt is a real thing. Next thing I would say is schedule. Taking control of your time. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is huge. You go from a W-2 to this, and it's like, woo, freedom. I'm going to wash my car. I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself. Well, no, because what's going to happen? You're in white space. White space is no money. You aren't working. You're not scheduling things. That, for me, self-discipline equals success. And that is a huge thing, is that how can I grow a business? How can I be successful if I can't be disciplined enough to fill my time and to be accountable for what I said I was going to do? I've got kids watching me, and I want to pave the way for them. For me, I fill my day. I want to set the numbers in my favor. That was a big thing that I realized. If I went out in the day and I had 4 appointments, I booked 4 appointments. I've got 4 appointments in the day. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to write so much business. I'm going to be full-time. We're going to go on a vacation. Well, before I leave the house, one person has already canceled on me. Probably another person is already canceled as I'm driving to their house. Somebody no-showed me, or they're hiding, pretending that they don't hear me. And then I'm going to sit with somebody, and then I'll be able to help them, or maybe not. So how am I setting myself up to be successful? We don't. You have to put the numbers in your favor. Just like, how Brad, he propels me like crazy with his dialing. Here I am thinking, wow, I dialed 50 dials and I'm doing great. And I look over, I'm like, oh my God, he's dialing like crazy. I have to push myself. That's setting the numbers into your favor. So for me, I started out, I had goals where I would have myself, a minimum of 5 appointments a day. Now my goal is between 7 and 10 appointments a day. And what I do is I range them, I give them an hour window. I'll be in your area between 9 and 10. You could please give me a little time, because I'm going to be coming from another appointment. We drive a lot, and you don't know what the time is going to be. You don't know how your day is going to go. So giving yourself that time where you're setting yourself up for success, and not feeling like you're rushing, because that most important thing is the person that you're sitting with. You want to make sure and help them to the fullest. Another thing is, for me, is mindset. Okay, that's 3, is mindset. You got to get through all the no's as quickly as possible. One of the biggest things when I started out was I want to get through my first 100 appointments as quickly as possible. I kept hearing that. Do your 100 appointments, everything is going to fall into place. I am a perfectionist. I want to know everything. I want to know how this situation is going to go, how this is going to happen, what if this, what if this. And it took Ken to kick my butt out the door and say, go, you are running appointments. You are going to do this and you're going to figure it out and you're going to fail. And we're going to fail quickly and we're going to figure it out together. And you got to definitely be mentally tough. One time I had heard that most people are like dandelions, you know, the little white things. That something bad happens, the wind comes and you fall apart, right? You gotta stop being dandelions, okay? I actually have a lanyard with my license around my neck and it's got a dandelion on it. So every time that I'm walking up to a house, I remember not to be a dandelion, that I need to help these people. Mindset. Okay, the first time that I ever dialed, someone hung up on me and I cried. You know what I do now? They hang up on me, I call them back. Oh, I'm sorry, I think we lost connection. Goals. Okay, that's number 4. Sorry, I'm probably running out of time. Goals. Long-term and short-term goals. Daily goals. Okay? Daily. What are you going to achieve today? What is your goal today? How about weekly? Okay, weekly goals. Keeping that dial, that tracker that I actually was very against in the beginning, but it really helps because Ken wants me to be accountable. He tracks everything on me. Monthly. What is your monthly goal? Where do you want to be this month? How are you going to grow? I mean, April, I worked 1 week. You know, what last month was $28,000 I issued paid. This week, first week in June, I submitted $15,000. And I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep growing, and I want everybody to grow too.
Right.
We got to ratchet ourselves up. I listen to a lot of YouTube, like motivational. That's actually, I kind of have replaced my workouts. I used to work out and do music, and actually I replaced it to a self-motivation, self-growth. How I'm going to be a better person. How I'm going to self-love. How can you help other people when you don't love yourself, your identity? Going through the stuff with my mom, I was at the lowest point possible, and I realized that, we tell our clients, today is a gift, tomorrow is not promised. And the last one, I guess I kind of touched on it, number 5 is personal development, and that is a huge, huge one. To me, my personal opinion is this is kind of the key foundation for everything, because how can you win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind? That's something that actually, a video that I posted today about a Will Smith video, which I love, little motivational thing. We have to win the war in our mind, okay? So, probably time is over, but everybody, don't be a dandelion. And I want you to think, what would you do if you were 10 times bolder? Okay? What would you do? Would you make that dial? Would you go and door knock, which is something that Dean helps me with? I was never door knock in my life. That was the first thing I told Ken. I'm never going to door knock. That is not what I'm going to do. That makes me uncomfortable. Well, you know what? The things that happen for you that are going to succeed are the things that are on the other side of uncomfortable. On the other side of fear, that's where everything great, it comes from. So you have to push yourself. How are you expecting to change your life, to change your family's life, if you're not willing to push yourself past that fear? So I always want to thank everybody. There's not one person that I have not reached out to that has not helped me and guided me, because this past year has been probably one of the hardest years I've ever gone through. I was at the lowest point. I didn't know who I was, and this company, they say family first life, to me that is, I think everybody somewhere or another, even though we don't know each other well, is a family to me, and I everything that they say, it helps me grow, and I hope that at some point that, I can be like that for somebody else. So, I